sell what they want and then give them what they need.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the HighLevel Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Rahul Alim. He's the founder of Custom Creatives, as well as Cody Getchell. He's the senior partner and a co-founder of the GSD program. These guys run an agency that's done over $35 million in sales, and they've worked with some big names like Realtor.com, Reach Local, Geico, etc. Guys, thank you so much for coming on to chat with us.
Thanks for having us, man. This is going to be exciting.
Well, first of all, 35 million in sales. How long have you been doing this? That's a big number.
Yeah, it's been about 15 years. And I would probably say really like after the infancy stage, which was like the first 2.5, 3 years, is really where we got the training wheels off. So the first part of just starting the company was more about, I get to have the freedom and flexibility, but then you realize that you traded your 9 to 5 for a 24/7. So we went through some big hiccups in the beginning, but fought through it and we made it.
Which is totally natural, right? I mean, that's part of the natural journey. Now, let me ask you a question along those lines. Did you guys niche at one point?
Yeah. So my background was working for Realtor.com as a salesperson. And since I knew real estate so well, my intention was to get a real estate license, but I kept signing up for the test and never ended up taking it. But then I just one day walked out of the door for no reason. I had a great time working there. I was starting to become one of the better salespeople, and then literally walked out the door, sat in their parking lot, called a couple clients, closed a few right there on the spot. And that kind of bootstrapped us to afford a laptop and get an office and whatnot. So we did niche into the real estate space, but the way our strategy is that we wanted to align ourselves with the biggest, baddest person on the block, which was Realtor.com. There was nobody bigger than them. So that's really where we started as the niche. And we only had one product. And I mean, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. We sell banner ads. That's what we sold. Now we do everything, like digital marketing, everything. But back then we literally sold like squares to people. And
back then it was easy, right? Because you start seeing yourself all over and you're like, this is great. And you're like,
oh yeah.
I mean, we can officially say that everybody who hated banner ads for like 10 years, a lot of that was this guy's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, at our agency, we ran them for way longer than we thought they were effective, just because clients love it. They love seeing the exposure. And not to say it's not effective at all, but you know, it's a crowd pleaser, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a spray and pray type of marketing type strategy, if you will. But I mean, we were the designers and we would write the messages. But the unique part about what we did was our alignment was intentional to align with Realtor.com and people like them, like Homes.com and Trulia and Zillow. And then it expanded out. So we went away from just one industry and one niche, but we did start and we mastered the category of real estate. But then we got out into like other platforms. So all we did was cold call all these big ad networks. And we just say, hey, do you guys need a home to send your clients when you sell them this amazing advertising platform? And we realized that nobody had in-house designers. So we decided to be the in-house designer and eliminate the friction that they would have from sale to fulfillment, because that's where they were losing lots of revenue. And we realized that. Like, well, a salesperson selling $100,000 a year advertising or more, $1 million product, when their clients can't get the designs done in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks time or something reasonable, they're fucked. They're getting chargebacks, they're getting returns, they're getting like free,
for sure.
Free product on the back, and retention goes crazy. So we would just say, refer them directly to us. We'll have a fixed price for you. They'll have unlimited revisions. We'll actually even write the ad copy. We'll create the graphics. We'll buy the stock images if we need to. So we just created this concierge-like service. And what the unique part was is like, I didn't know how to price this. My very first banner sale, I had no clue what to charge. So I just threw out there $500 and the lady was like, done, boom. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I raised it to 800 for a bit, but then I didn't know like how to design anything. Like I'm not a designer. Still to this day, I've still never opened or downloaded Photoshop ever. But I'll get into that a little bit later.
That sounds like when I hear that, I hear master of delegation.
This guy, look, if you know, everyone's so focused on getting the VAs and the virtual assistants and the overseas people now. This guy was doing that 15 years ago before anybody knew what a VA was. So I say he never designed anything because he had the overseas connections back before that was a thing, when we all had the internet and it was all open with things like onlinejobs.ph. This guy just had some very talented.
because you're really good at one of the pieces, like one of the services, I feel like it's way more of a challenge to scale because it's hard to get yourself out of that role, right? You're always doing stuff. But someone like you comes in as just sort of a businessman, a leader. I can't do that. I got to do everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need people to do this, that, and that. And that's an important transition.
It is, and it's a hard transition, especially when you want everything perfect. And like when I come in from the business side and I'm now delegating to people that have tech skills that I don't possess, you have to be a good leader to be able to lead them to do the job well, and also make them curious if they're not doing it well and where they can push themselves to be even better. So that's the unique.
You have a
part.
sharp enough eye, I would say, right? You need to know what is good and what doesn't make sense, right? I was always shocked at how many people would look at a website, be like, "Oh, that looks great," and I'd be like, "Are we looking at the same site?" I'm not going to say it out loud, but you know what I mean. And then it was like, so I think that's important as well. But I mean, look, there's so much that we can talk about. Well, let me ask you this: what you're selling now is an average package of what? What's what's your most popular sort of program?
Well, our GSD program is one of our more popular ones. We have like low ticket to high ticket, whatever people kind of associate.
Is it still more design stuff, or is it?
For like our services to our end clients for our agency, we offer paid advertising like Facebook ads, Google, YouTube, that kind of stuff in different packages. Then we combine them with different price levels.
And you do a lot of website stuff too, right? I saw on your site.
We still do websites. We still do graphic design.
You guys evolved into all the services.
Yeah, exactly. So we've kind of streamlined things, a lot of it through HighLevel as well, to automate certain tasks so we don't have to like customize stuff. It's all like triggered and goes out automatically, which is great. But also the great part is like we just have like we believe in repeat business. Like I see so many agencies out there saying like, oh, let me get to 100 clients. I'm like, fuck your 100 clients. Just because like it doesn't matter, because to get to 100, you're gonna have to go through 200. What if we just focused, instead of growth, let's focus on keeping what we already built and then go growth minded. So I think a lot of people can skip the line of the customer number does not make any sense to me.
No, like we've seen, like, how many of these people have we seen? We've peeked behind the curtains of that say they're doing 100, 200, 300K months. And then you peek behind the curtain because they hire us to take a look for consulting and for ads. And it's actually that they're losing a shit ton of money. It's actually that they're on the brink of collapse because they're not building a business. They're just being taught, a method to go out and acquire a huge number without being able to in any way retain or maintain those relationships that they spent so much time building. And so there's just a lot of flash on social media and that stuff. And yeah,
I would argue it's natural. And that's why we love to showcase guys like you who have coaching programs that can help people sort of skip those growing pains. Because if you don't go through that process, you don't understand, like you have to figure it out. Oh, it's really difficult to keep a Facebook ads client, right? Because they're getting pitched by 10 other Facebook ad agencies every day, promising cheaper leads. How do I make sure I, keep these people stuck to me? And that's a huge reason we rolled out SaaS mode, is to try to give people platform features that can keep customers stuck to you. But honestly, man, if you haven't been in the industry for a long time, you guys know you're going to go through serious growing pains. And so it's cool that you guys are, sharing the knowledge now. But let's talk about some specific knowledge. A big piece of this is, you can't even think about getting to 200 if you can't figure out how to get to 10. Mm-hmm. And if you can't, you need to be able to sell to get to 10, right? And it seems like you guys have a really buttoned up sales process. And I saw you mention, like, we teach people how to get warm leads right now, like where and when. Talk to me about this. What have you learned over all these years about the pipeline and getting people in?
Well, so look, there's a couple of things, and I'm going to let Rahul's going to be able to really dive into this. And I just want to make a couple of points right away. Every single person that comes into our program, and we've gone through a couple hundred agencies now, says the same thing when I ask them, what is your offer? What are you doing for your client? Give me a 15-second elevator pitch. I do Facebook ads and Google ads to generate traffic and leads and websites and blah, 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 blah. All this shit jargon that we're super proud of because we spend all this time learning it, and okay, awesome, they're our skill set, but that the client gives zero shits about. And excuse my French, I'm up here in Canada, ladies and gentlemen, so you got to excuse my French a little bit. But when they get that, they're not allowing themselves to find people, number one, that'll raise their hand and say they want to be a part of that. But number two, in their sales process, if you ever want to offload your sales and you expect your sales team, your salespeople to be able to sell like that by going through the nuts and bolts of what Facebook ads actually are, you're just asking for a disaster, right? When we finally built out a sales department that could specifically sell the real estate productized service that we created, it got much, much, much easier when they had one end result, a spearhead offer that they could focus in on. And I have no issue saying like that ended up being, you're not a pay per appointment model, but a retainer model based around pay per appointment, buckets of them. So what they're selling is you pay X dollars for this many appointments on a per appointment basis. You have to buy this many as a minimum. It's going to happen like a retainer every month, and it goes up and down based on that. Super, super easy. As long as they have like a generic idea of what the rest of it was, that clarity, that spearhead, that what we call in the GSD, the scary offer, allows not only us to start more conversations with more people and generate warm people through organic marketing and through ads and whatever else who know what the offer is, but then it allows clarity to the sales team, which at the end of the day, guys, if you want to scale, you got to be able to delegate off certain things like sales eventually, right? They now have clarity on what they're selling, confidence that we'll be able to achieve it, and all of that meshes together in being able to actually attain and achieve an end goal and sell it on a regular basis.
I mean, you made a great point. It's a recurring theme on a lot of when I speak to people who are great at sales of sort of sell the hole, not the drill, right? Nobody goes to Home Depot because they want to buy a great drill. They go there because they need to make a hole, right? You added on to that, which I thought was interesting. You said, if you're doing the opposite, that's not scalable. And you're right. It's so hard to, even when we're hiring at HighLevel, you know how long it takes somebody to learn HighLevel, the whole platform? Like, it's not scalable to expect people to hop on calls and discuss any random feature, right? And so, but it is easy to talk about the real goal, which is, you want to scale your agency, right? Yeah, you want to retain agency clients longer, right? Yeah, like, okay, let's talk about that. That's what our platform does. Like, you can talk to tech people later on, but let's talk about what matters here. And I think that is exactly what you're saying, and that makes a ton of sense. So hopefully the message is resonating now. You do not want to focus on the features, the specific services, the details of ads, things like that, because nobody cares about that, right? They care about the end goal.
It's a cliche, but it's sell what they want and then give them what they need, right? It's a cliche for a reason, because it's still true. And I say it all the time. I say it to Rahul all the time. Like, I can hop on calls and I can make sales, and I do pretty frequently. I went 5 for 5 one time right in a row when I had to take them, but it's not because I'm a good salesperson, and I should never be given the task of training our salespeople, because the only reason I sell it is because I know the product in and out, and I'm overly confident in its success. And that comes through in my conversations with other people. A salesperson who needs to do it on their own has to have that clarity, that one specific spearhead thing that they can push through.
So once you get that clarity, what's the next step? How do I get people coming into my pipeline?
I'll kind of touch on that really quickly. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, I mean, it's simple. Go where your clients are, and they're on Facebook, they're on YouTube, they're in your phone, they're in your network already, and start there. And that's really the number one way to do things. So like for me, like as a business owner, I don't care if I have to cold call. I still will. And it's because I want, if I want to make if I didn't cold call, we wouldn't have like Geico as a client or realtor.com. When they gave us, we did 40,000 different agents marketing for their company. I mean, it's because of one reason. I just went where the clients were and just did it relentlessly. So the simple part is, when you have that good, if you have a good offer, if you're trying to try to do like hardcore sales and you want to like get people to in your funnel faster, just get as organic as possible. Go live every day, post on your Facebook wall, LinkedIn, connect with people, but then also be really clear what you're trying to accomplish. Like, are you trying to get them to be a $3,000 a month retainer, and can they even afford it? And do they have that existing problem they're aware of? So you have to know where they are in their awareness pattern, if they're not aware or whatnot. But then also, I'm a big foot in the door person when I'm going in cold. Like, I just want to get anything done. I don't care if it's $100 banner, whatever it is. We need to start the momentum of a relationship. Once we start the momentum of a relationship, then we can ascend them up. Because
value
one of
ladder.
my,
You just said ascend,
value,
right? And so that's exactly what
yeah.
I was thinking, having a value ladder in place.
Yeah, and the way we value ladder is on that original sales call. Like Cody's heard me like upsell people after they literally have just agreed to terms right away. So we know the timing, we have the awareness, the acuity to be able to read people pretty well and their goals. And it's not necessarily, people think sales may sound like slimy or whatnot. We're providing like a solid solution, because what we teach our team and get in their brain patterns is literally, if we don't offer this product, if we don't make these recommendations, we can be doing this person's family a complete disservice by not allowing them to get where they want to go faster. By us taking their money and exchanging it for our value, they're going to get a high ROI, and then they're going to live the life that they want. So that's kind of like the culture, the why of what we teach inside, is that sales is your responsibility to help somebody else get where they want to go. Kind of like walking an old lady across the street. It's the right thing to do. Just go do it.
Can I ask you a question? What does the bottom of your sales ladder look like? What do you guys have on the lower end that you use to bring people in and then ascend them up?
Well, we have free things. Like, actually, we'll even give away a free thing here too. Like, we have a free like if it's an agency, we have a free foundations course. And again, it goes down to the avatar that we're working with. And if it's going to be like an agency client, let's say I want to go get some more clients that need graphic design, for example, I'll just go give away banners for free. I'll say, let's skip the interview, because if I'm going to try to charge you, this could take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You have to get sign off. You have to get vendor paperwork. I already know all the complications behind it. If it's a big company, I'll just say, hey, look, let us do it for free. Go use it, put it to test against your other ads. And then if you like us, then now you already know our communication and our process and everything. And then I'll give them the rate card. I'll say, here's the pricing. And then they hire us. Like, we got a bunch of orders from some big company. I think it was like Google or Geico or one of the two, one of the G's, earlier this week, just from one of those relationships where we just had an amazing offer, but with the disclaimer that it's the right target audience, because we're not just here to do free stuff. We're not the Mother Teresa's of marketing here. We're trying to make revenue. So we have to also qualify them, because when they accept our work, then, or the offer, then we have to future pace them and saying, hey, assuming you like our work and assuming you like our communication and everything, what does our future hold? And then they'll tell us what volume or opportunities we have. And then we cut the deal from there. So we do
That's
a bunch
good
of different
point.
Yeah.
You really need to set that expectation in the beginning of like, yeah, you're getting something awesome for free or for a very low price, but just so we're on the same page. Once month 2 comes around, this is going to change, right? Because otherwise you just set a terrible
100%.
expectation of, you guys are going to keep doing free stuff for me.
Exactly. And that's where you get scope creep. And when you're doing it for free, they don't respect you anyways. We never do marketing for free ever. And we would never teach anybody to ever do marketing free when it comes to Facebook ads. There's too much work, too many complications. And the variable is the client closing those deals, which rarely will ever happen. So we teach something wildly
like, what
different.
about when you niche down, right? So let's talk realtors, right?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of something that you can just give away that works with, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you could create one thing that works for any realtor, right? So it's like, you can give them that at the bottom of the ladder to get them in. Do you guys have standard things with realtors as an example?
We've given away, look, with any industry, almost always, you could give them the whole thing. One of our best performing 2-step posts has been going for 3 years now, I think, in our group. And it's got 2,000 or 3,000 comments and leads on there that our setter just goes back through and re-gets all the time. And it's literally the whole thing. It's a free training, exactly, end to end, on how they can take this and get seller leads. And the thing actually gives them the landing page, the copy, and everything. All they have to do is watch the video, take the stuff, and go do it.
Now, this model I love,
they do?
Because I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
No realtor is capable of doing that, right? They like, this is amazing, I'm going to get all the secrets, and then they go through it and they're like, holy crap, this is a lot of work, and I don't even understand what half of this means. I need somebody to help me with this. I should probably go to the guys that gave me this, because they probably know how to implement it.
It looks like it works. It should work. It obviously works. They gave me it all. It works, but I can't do it. So now I'm going to come back to you. And now, okay, cool. This was great. Thank you so much. Can you do this for me now? And that's
Exactly.
really,
I love that model.
Yeah, and the offer works in any industry as long as you have the ability to demonstrate some sort of authority with like a free giveaway, and you have the quality of like the whatever the videos and all that have to be legitimate. They'll be able to smell out if you suck or not. But this works for any industry because we built a 5 or 6,000. I don't know how many people are in the real estate group anymore, but I don't go in there very often. But it was all off a bribe. We just said, we'll give you 100 free social media graphics. We had a graphic designer make 100. We're also selling those same exact graphics on a funnel as well at the same time. So get in our group free, get these graphics, or just buy the graphics and then get in our group. So we just tested both. It worked on both, but that led to all our clients. We literally fueled our whole entire group where we created this community of buyers just by spending our money and not our time on ads. So it was kind of nice.
Well, so let me ask you a question, because I love to make sure that we're helping out the early agency entrepreneurs who are like, that sounds great, but I'm not far enough along to have that whole thing to give away, to know what works so I could package it up and give it away. When you guys coach, do you sort of hand them stuff that's proven from what you've done and say, hey, run with this, and here's how you close when they come back around?
I'm going to take that before Cody goes, because I know what he's going to say. We literally tell people, do not change what we tell you to do. And then when they come to our coaching calls, they'll say, hey, can you check out like why this is getting too high of lead costs? And the first answer Cody always has is, you changed what we told you not to change. So it's literally plug and fucking play. Like, you have our contract, you have our offerings, you have our price matrix, you have our content calendar, like you have everything where it's literally a snap of a finger. You have an instant agency and you have to now use the tool in front of you. Kind of like, I always make this analogy. It's a silly one, but it gets the point across. Is like, if Michael Jordan like shot a basketball and missed it, he's not going to say basketball didn't work. He's just going to sharpen his skills and get better at basketball. So same thing with the agency world, is that I think with a lot of people like messages saying they're getting rich quick, all these different stories you see, I think it's depleting like the perception of what reality is. The reality is it's hard work.
100%.
It's hard fucking work. And like teeing up like for this agent, since it's early startup agencies that will possibly be listening to this, we'll just give you a course that will help you get to your first 10K. And that's it. It's easy. We have a whole video library we'll just give to everybody, if that's cool with you, Chase.
That would be amazing. Where should they go if they want in on this?
Cody will drop the link in the chat here, so everybody can have access and register for it.
Great.
And it's built on this beautiful platform too. Go HighLevel. So you'll get some.
How's HighLevel change things for you guys? I'd love to hear about, when did you come on board and what happened?
So I came on board, like, I think I was one of the first patients, if you will, in the beta group. So I came on board a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
I didn't adapt to it because I'm old in my patterns. I'm kind of like the person who does not like, I resist change. Like, I like using the same thing. I'm still on Basecamp Classic, which is a project management tool. The very first platform. I'm sure they want me off of it because there's so many upgrades after that.
When he says classic, he means like Windows 98. Like, it's still blocky text. It's, it functions great for him.
Yeah. But in all honesty, like, it's so easy for when we can truly now say we're productized. So when we sell something to real estate agents, it's like literally a couple clicks of a button and a little bit of training to onboard an employee, where before it would just be so complex because like you have to micromanage, if you will. So now we've just taken like human tasks and just automated what should be automated. We don't over automate. We still love human connection. But It allows us to kind of now keep, like, since there's so many tools all in one platform, it's like, I love it because you can text people, you can voice drop, you can email, it connects with Facebook Messenger and all that stuff. So it allows like operational control, so we can see our salespeople, like their conversations. And if we ever have turnover, somebody else can take over right where they left off. So everything's just centralized right there. But from a sales perspective, because that's kind of more my cup of tea and my role here in the company, is more on the business development side. I mean, sending one text message for a blast as you accumulate a list of people can turn into a life-changing event for your company. And also, not only that, you can attract, like, when you think bigger picture, when you have more money, you can get better people. And that's the most important thing to us, is like, we don't close sales so we can buy nice things. We want to get better people so we can free up our time. That's our most valuable currency. So that's what HighLevel has really helped, is kind of automate things. Like we had 2 sales come in like in the last couple hours for our program. All we do is literally click a button under offers and touch the product they bought, and everything else is done. It automates the onboarding, the follow-up, the accountability. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about the tool.
I mean, you guys, you said a couple of things that I love, and it makes a lot of sense to me of why HighLevel works so well for you guys, because you're in the same mindset, right? I love this. I preach this to every industry. It's basically as simple as build a database, activate the database, right? And the easiest way to build a database is by giving things away. And you guys just talked a lot about that, some great examples. And then you mentioned, the power of being able to just send a text to your database that activates it, right? So if you are giving things away, people aren't going to buy right away. Of course not. But as you learn, as you grow, as you, like you said, just keep being organic and authentic about, hey, we're trying this new thing that YouTube ads have out. We're doing this new thing. Whoa, here's the result of that. Like one text blast of like, hey, here's this new case study from this new thing. Let us know if you guys want to talk about it, can drum up so much business that you got into your database years ago, right? And now it was like the one thing that really jumped out at them. Now all of a sudden they're in your sales pipeline. And so I think I'm with you guys on that one. You got to have something that you're giving away just to get people into the database. And then you can, once they're in, you can nurture for years.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no better tool, I don't think, for end to end. And that's what I like the most out of it, is as a guy that likes to just build shit, probably too much. I build too much stuff, but the more I build in there, the more it's connected and the easier it is. Whereas before it was, let's do it on this funnel builder and add in this email autoresponder, and it doesn't have text, so let's go over here. Now it's just, okay, I'm building the audience and I can access and activate that audience whenever I want. And that's, I mean, to me, that's like a superpower, because literally last week we launched a new smaller offer. We filled it with like 50 people within a few days, a few emails. So it's a superpower.
Yeah. So you agency owners out there that are younger or older, it doesn't really matter. Use the database, accumulate it. And I mean, the fastest way to get people to know, like, and trust you is develop value first. So instead of going, like, like when I first started the business, I mean, I was an intern for a sports agency, and I think that's a pivotal moment in my life. I dropped out of college to work there. And I think a lot of younger people come in with their hand out. They just want stuff. They're like, oh, me, me, me. When I worked at this agency, I didn't want money. I just wanted experience. So I knew that early. So we were supposed to work 5 hours a week. I worked 40 hours a week, so I was no longer going to college. And they were like, why in the world are you doing this? And I was like, why? I was thinking, why in the world are you allowing me here for that long? Because they didn't realize I was accumulating so much knowledge at such a young age that I can take with me forever. So that was my currency, was experience and knowledge, and the mistakes that I should avoid versus like, what should I do? I wanted to know what not to do too. And that really helped me down the path of entrepreneurship. So I don't know where that story was going, but I think that's when it comes to the value, just doing stuff for free for clients will get you that know, like, and trust factor.
I mean, again, it's why we love having guys like you on, because when you're early in your agency career, if you're hungry and you're willing to put in the work, you're going to succeed, but there's going to be a lot of roadblocks along the way. And, I feel like we talked about this earlier. There are a million coaches out there. So, be careful with who you work with. But I always endorse the idea of finding a coach in your early years, because you can just hurdle so many of the things that you're going to trip you up for sure. I mean, we've all gone down the same paths and mistakes and lessons that we've learned. And so, but I think you pointed out a great point. You got to want it, right? You got to be willing to put in the time. Like, this is not, you said, I can't remember if we were recording or not, when you said I traded a 9-to-5 for a 24/7. That's the agency life, right? Like, but if you love that, then, there are guys like you guys in the community that can really help you skip ahead and go, jump way past 10K a month. I think everybody, that's sort of the natural first target, is the 10K a month. But if you learn the lessons early on, I think you can scale past that really quickly, especially with HighLevel at your side.
100%. I mean, the more you can sacrifice as an entrepreneur, the sooner, the better. Because I even just posted something the other day where I just said, like, I'm perfectly imbalanced. Like, I have one priority, it's my work. And then everything else is number two, family, friends, everybody. But the reality is, I don't actually contextually mean that. I just mean I put such a high weight on wanting to get to our goal. Our goal is always going higher and higher. So it's a never ending journey that we're going down. And it's not any more about the money. At first, it was, I'm going to be totally truthful, I did everything for the money, and all you guys do too. So now it's not, because we have it. So now we can make a bigger why, a bigger purpose, more.
So what is the next milestone, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, I think the next milestone is going to be getting more into, I would say, like philanthropy type stuff. I mean, and we've diversified our business units quite a bit, where like Cody does a lot of independent real estate. I do a lot of real estate on my own, or we're going to consider like doing like a real estate business. I'm going to be talking to a couple of people in the sports industry, maybe that have contacts, maybe invest in some sort of like athletic team. So it goes beyond the agency. The agency gave the path of the guide of life and created wealth. And now that wealth now needs to be redistributed into other units and categories where we're not the show. We don't have to be responsible to be a CEO, a leadership guy, and take care of a whole team, where we can like leverage our money and our time.
But what's nice, and correct me if you don't feel this way, but I feel like when you build a successful agency, you now have a machine that you can run other businesses through, right? So if you guys want to open up a real estate firm or something, you just run it through your agency machine and you're cranking, right? So I always loved that about it. It was like, hey, we had a lot of conversations like that. When we reached this financial milestone, let's do something different. And that was really exciting. It was like, let's decide what business we want to open and then have the team run it as if it were a client. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love hearing people that have that similar thought process, and that talking about it. We don't talk about that a lot. Like, servicing clients doesn't have to be your end game, right? Like it can support a much bigger plan.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say sacrifice as much as you can, so you can build this momentum and a snowball effect. And then just don't use your cash wisely. This is just advice, not financial advice, but don't buy the nice cars, and try to stay away from fancy dinners and nightclubs if you can. If you can't, it's okay. Don't worry. But I mean, save your money and put it into an appreciation asset versus a car or something like that. Because I've already done that, and it's not fun. I already bought the nice cars. When you have like $600 wheels that you got to change, it's not very fun. So I'm a big fan of giving the advice my father gave to me is that a vehicle is from point A to point B, and it was just a symbol. It didn't mean the actual car itself. It was like things in life are that way. It's like, you don't need if you need the materials, do it. If you don't. I mean, the car is going to get you there regardless if it's a Bentley or a Toyota. But use your capital wisely, invest into appreciation, so you can actually enjoy vacation. You can enjoy stress-free time with your wife and your kids and your family, or just go boating, whatever it is you like. So, I mean, this isn't supposed to be a motivational speech here, but the reality is the agency and this tool right here, I mean, you can build a whole damn business. There's so many people in the group that sell this as their only sole income. So there's so much diversity on this platform that you guys can take this thing to the moon.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. If people are interested in working with you guys on a coaching level, is the URL that you sent me where they should head?
I think honestly, I mean, I can give a booking link if they want to do a direct booking, but if they get that agency foundations course, that mini course right there, that is end to end going to help them get to 10K a month, bar none. There's organic marketing training, paid marketing training, sales training, day-to-day operations. Like, there's 10 hours or more of some of our best trainings in there. And on every single video, when they're ready to talk to us about more help, there is, of course, the link to book. So I think that would be the best place for them to go. And it's kind of our gift to the community, just to give back a little bit for everybody that's helped us so much.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure that the link's in the description and below wherever this gets posted. So thank you so much for coming on, guys. It was great chatting.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one.